Good morning. At this time, I would like to welcome our Student Council President, Daniel Stark, to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please direct your attention to the flag at the field house and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dan. Please remain standing, and gentlemen, remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Please be seated. Good morning, students, staff, faculty, family, and friends. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the promotion of the Springfield Township Middle School class of 2021. Today, they will become the Springfield Township High School freshman class and the graduating class of 2025. You may have noticed your teachers and other staff members wearing these Super Spartan shirts on Wednesday's day of service. These shirts were the brainchild of our assistant principal, Mr. Payne, who is sitting here with me on stage, and they are meant to recognize the effort that it has taken our whole school community to overcome the extreme hardship that we have all faced since that day in March last year when the world changed. All of us, students, staff, faculty, family, and friends, have had our worlds turned upside down. Students had to learn how to do school from home. Parents had to learn how to make sure students doing school from home were supervised, fed, motivated, strong, and connected. Teachers and other staff had to relearn their jobs overnight and speak the language of hybrid instruction. Unmute yourself are words I never thought that I would hear in a classroom. Just 15 months ago, the English teacher that still lives somewhere inside of me would have rebelled against that phrase. But we are here on this beautiful planet, in this beautiful place, on this beautiful day. And we have survived hardship and loss, perhaps, to be here together today. That alone makes me feel lucky. And when you combine it with the reason for our togetherness, When you combine it with the fact that we have gathered here to celebrate these young people as they promote to the next chapter of their schooling, then what used to feel like a rite of passage now feels like a superpower. When Mr. Payne gave me this shirt, that was just 15 months ago, and I was a large, and now I'm sporting a double XL. I started thinking about the connections between the Superman story and the journey that we have all taken together. Here are some commonalities that the comic book nerd in me has recognized. Superman also had his world turned upside down. Properly, Superman's world exploded, and the surviving son of Krypton found himself on a new planet with new rules. I think we can agree that having your world explode is a hardship. I think we know what that feels like more than most. But we must also remember that in the case of Superman and ourselves, that new world has conferred superpowers upon us. In our case, we are more flexible thinkers. We are more independent. We are more prepared to live in this digital age. And just like the yellow sun of Earth brought out Superman's powers, so our shared hardship, I hope, has brought out the best in you. Here are some more thoughts on this. You'll see I've been thinking about this for a while. Superman can fly, and so can you. Metaphorically, of course. But the point is valid. You are going to fly from here. I have no doubt that you will reach very high heights in your 4 years of high school and beyond. Superman has super strength. You are certainly stronger now, whether you know it or not. And as the world has opened up, I've gotten back to the gym again to try and lose this double XL. And one thing that I am painfully relearning is that strength comes only with pain, hardship, and difficulty. You certainly have had those things, and you are stronger for it. Superman has X-ray eyes, and I have no doubt that your take on the world will be more insightful. Because of this hardship, you will be able to see what those around you and those that came before you cannot. I believe that this pandemic has forged a deep appreciation for the things we once took for granted. Going to school in person with your friends and this remarkable group of teachers, hugging your friends and family, unmasking your smile, all now seem like minor miracles. But the truth is, they were miracles all along. And it's the X-ray vision that we have gained in this new world that lets us see that. As you enter high school, this class will be special because you will spend 4 years noticing those miracles and appreciating them for the human moments that they are. Also, Superman can shoot lasers out of his eyes. And I think that's pretty cool. And I don't have a metaphor for that. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Of course I do. Remember Superman's only weakness? Fragments of his home planet, Krypton? Well, if you push past the kryptonite of self-doubt, of fear, of isolation, then, my friends, your vision will surely set the world on fire. Class of 2025, congratulations, and thank you very much. I'd like you to turn your attention now. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like you to turn your attention now to the risers, where the middle school chorus will perform There Is a Light. And I would like our 8th graders who are in the chorus to join their schoolmates on the risers. Thank you, Mrs. Benton and students. And of course, that song is called Be a Light, not There Is a Light. I didn't have that written in my script up here, so I apologize, Mrs. Benton. Students, thanks for going back to your seats. And at this point, I would like to welcome Mrs. Amy Hubley, representing the Springfield Township Secondary Home and School Partnership, to the podium to present the honors and awards bestowed by that organization. Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Good morning. My name is Amy Hubley, and I will be presenting this year's Secondary HSP Service to the School Community Awards. This year's recipients are Kayla V. and Ursula Aaron. Yeah, girls, please come up. Congratulations, Kayla.
Down the middle.
I also have the privilege of presenting this year's 8th grade essay contest award. This award was determined by a group of 7th grade parents. The essay appears on the back of your program. The recipient of the award this year is Matthew Hay. I'd now like to ask Nate Brown to join me to present the 8th grade class gift. This year, the 8th grade class is happy to present the library with a $500 check for new library books, along with an original painting that Nate created to be displayed in the library.
Thank you, Amy. And now we will present our Springfield Township Awards for the 2020-2021 school year. Students receiving awards, please proceed to the podium when your name is called, and you can do that along the outside. Come up the ramp and go right down the middle. At this time, I would like Mrs. Amy Benton to come to the podium to present our art, music, chorus, drama, and stage crew awards. Amy.
Good morning. My name is Amy Benton, and on behalf of Mr. Grumman, I will be presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in Art Awards. This year's recipients are Isabella Dant and Audrey Santa. Congratulations. I will also be presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in Music Awards. The recipients are Helen Lutz and Daniel Stark. I also have the privilege of presenting this year's Outstanding Proficiency in Chorus Award provided by the STMS Music Boosters. This year's recipients are Elizabeth Vasquez and Michaela Kelly. Congratulations. Oops. Congratulations. And I have 2 awards on behalf of Mr. Meads, our drama director. On behalf of Mr. Meads, I will be presenting this year's Outstanding Proficiency in Drama Award provided by the STMS Music Boosters. This year's recipients are Luke Edis and Elizabeth Vasquez. Congratulations. Congratulations. And finally, on behalf of Mr. Meads, I will also be presenting this year's Outstanding Proficiency in Stage Crew and Drama Award, also provided by the STMS Music Boosters. This year's recipients are Michael Cooper and Joey Hauser. Congratulations. Congratulations. At this time, I will pass it over to Mr. Matt Barlow.
Good morning. My name is Matt Barlow, and I have the privilege of presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in Band Award. This year's recipients are Kazuya Koguchi and Ravi Padmanabhan. I will also be presenting this year's STMS Music Boosters Service to the Band Awards. This year's recipients are Matthew Hall and Michael Barrels Cooper. And let's see. Are we going? Ms. Ream is she here? It looks like Ms. Ream is next.
Ms. Ream is here.
Ah, yes. And now I pass the mic to Ms. Ream.
Good morning. My name is Miss Ream. On behalf of Miss Nosei, I will be presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in STEM Award. This year's recipients are Isabella Dant and Kazuya Kijuki. What is it? Kiguchi. Sorry for the mispronunciation.
Introduce the next person, John Masucci.
Up next is Mr. John Masucci.
Thanks.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Mr. Masucci, and I will be presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in Physical Education Award. This year's recipients are Ella Walsh and Owen Quinn. I'll introduce you. Hold on. Can you hold?
Come on, Mr. Masucci. Congratulations, guys.
And I will be passing the mic to Mrs. Ify.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Ify, and I have the privilege of presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in Fitness Award. This year's recipients are Ariana Malfara and Dominic Devers. Who's next? Good.
Good job.
And we will now turn the microphone to Ms. Kent. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Miss Kent, and on behalf of Mr. Manga, I will be presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in French Award. This year's recipient is Rebecca Jimenez Diaz. On behalf of Mr. Martin, I also have the privilege of presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in German Award. This year's recipient is Nicole Shermer. I also have the privilege of presenting this year's Secondary Home and School Partnership Outstanding Proficiency in Spanish Award. This year's recipient is Nia Kennedy.
I'm back. So again, my name is Mr. Fuller, and I'm presenting this year's Jared M. Barrett Jr. Award for service to the school. Yes? Oh, the Presidential Education Award. Please let me welcome, see I'm dangerous. Please let me welcome to the stage Judy Smith to present the Presidential Education Award.
Good morning. My name is Judy Smith,
and I will be presenting this year's Presidential Education Awards. The Presidential Education Award is given to students who maintain a 3.5 or above grade point average for the first 3 marking periods of their 8th grade year. Recipients receive a certificate signed by President Joe Biden. The following 8th graders have met criteria for the Presidential Education Award. There are many, many names, I'm glad to say, so please hold your applause until all names have been called. Students, if your name is called, please stand, turn to face your parents, and remain standing. This year's recipients are Sarah Aboud, Ursula Aaron, Alexander Aaron, Liam Baskin, Dylan Bowman, Sean Bird, Emily Briggs, Zoe Cohen, Joseph Conlon, Anna Miriam Corrales, Max Crossan, Maeve Kulina, Jocelyn Davis, Tyrell DeFreitas, Caroline Gilchrist, Luke Edis, Charles Farmer, Liam Galpin, Sydney Gatewood, Nathan Gazera, Danny Gendron, Johnny Gendron, Micaiah Green, Robert Hartman, Owen Hastings, Matt Hall, Matthew Hay, Holland Haynes, Ethan Holmes, Benjamin Hubley, Olivia Igo, Rebecca Jimenez, Nia Kennedy, Vincent Kerper, Kaz Kaguchi, Justin Kim, Susan Clausen, Rachel Lee, Eunice Lee, Michael Lee, Benjamin Luce, Helen Lutz, John Lynch, Reagan McGuire, Ariana Malfara, Fiona Malfara, Hayden Mallory, Jonathan Matthews, Michaela McKeever, Jameson McNeil, Yulisa Mexcatitla Martinez, Nora Million, Ava Moran, Charles Morris, Isabella Navo, Rayana Nickens, Ravi Padmanabhan, Ann Pham, Chase Paroli, Sophia Pataki, Natalie Rittler, Alondra Rivera Fonseca, Grace Robinson, Kylan Rode, Desiree Rodriguez, Sarah Roebuck, Samuel Roman, Chase Rubicam, Graham Saunders, Lola Saunders, Nicole Shermer, Ashley Schultz, Ella Seslow, Isha Shah, Nikolai Shapiro, Jessica Shapley, Luke Sharp, Sarah Sharp, Paul Silvius, Shannon Silvius, Audrey Santa, Daniel Stark, Jake Sullivan, Max Sussman, Olivia Tall, Bashir Tawfiq, Rhett Trabowski, Luke Vandemulebracke, Elizabeth Vasquez, Kayla V, Ella Walsh, Amelie Walsh, Jacqueline Walters, Gabriel Wells, and Samuel Ziegler. Please give these students a round of applause. Students, you may be seated. And I'll now turn the program back over to Mr. Fuller. There you go.
Okay, now I'm back, and now I am here to present this year's Jarrett M. Barrett Jr. Award for service to the school. To be a recipient of this award, the student worked diligently in every class and must have worked to, quote, the limit of his or her God-given abilities, to be courteous, cooperative, and loyal. This year's recipient of the Jarrett M. Barrett Jr. Service to School Award is Ella Walsh. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce Assistant Principal Mr. Payne to bestow the Spartan Award. Mr. Payne.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Payne, and I have the privilege of presenting this year's Spartan Award. To receive this award, the student has shown tenacity, determination, and perseverance, which exemplifies Springfield Township Middle School. This year's recipient, Alondra Rivera Fonseca. At this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Sonia Andre Borges.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Andre Borges, or Mrs. AB, and I will be presenting this year's Krista Herwig Award. To be a recipient of this award, the student is kind, caring, empathetic to the needs of others, and shows respect to teachers and peers. This year's recipient is Gracie Buchholz. I will now turn over the microphone to Dr. Yannicone.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to join you to celebrate our 8th graders as they are promoted to high school and to present the Rotary Club Memorial Award. As a Rotary member, I'm especially grateful to be able to share a little bit about our organization. We believe in shared responsibility for solving the world's greatest challenges, including to promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, to save mothers and children, support education, and grow local economies. Our mission is to provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. The Rotary Memorial Award is presented to middle school students who demonstrate helpfulness to their classmates and have shown a willingness to serve the school community. This year's recipients are Danny and Johnny Gendron.
I believe you're right.
Hello, guys. Thank you. Before I sit back down, I just want to ask for everyone to recognize the leadership of our principal and assistant principal, Mr. Fuller and Mr. Payne, in what has been a very challenging year. I want to congratulate them both on bringing the 8th grade class to this special day and thank them for all of their leadership this year.
Thank you. I'm glad I got to come right up and say thank you, Dr. Yannicka, and we appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. This is one of my favorite moments of the entire school year, and that's the moment when I get to honor 2 8th grade students with the Principal's Award. As all of you parents know, middle school is a time of growth that is only equaled by the development that happens between the time of birth and 4 years of age. I have my very own 8th grader this year back at my house. Her school year is over. And even I, a person who spent a lot of time in middle school, am amazed at what I have seen. Flabbergasted, really. One of my Montgomery County principal colleagues puts it best when he says that 6th graders need a babysitter, and just 3 years later, 8th graders are babysitters. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to recognize outstanding positive growth in 2 young people. Please join me first in congratulating Alex Aaron. Congratulations, Alex. Next, please join me in congratulating the second recipient of the Principal's Award, Kennedy McManus. We will now begin the ceremonial reading of student names. As each student crosses the stage, their name will be called by their homeroom teacher, and they will receive a certificate of promotion. Again, this being a ceremonial presentation, we ask audience members to refrain from unnecessary noise so that the names of all of our students can be heard. We ask that you withhold your applause until the homeroom list has been read in its entirety. Homerooms 8A and 8B, please rise.
Good morning. My name is Mary Evans, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Sarah Aboud. Sean Bleeker. Lucas Braun. Emily Briggs. Sophie Bustos. Chris Cahill. Owen Chabinsky. Josie Clark. Joe Conlin. Michael Cooper. Asher Dahlgren. Jossie Davis. Tyrell DeFreitas. Dom Devers. Gavin Dunlop. Victor Voinow. Gabriel Wells. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Miss Ariel Franks. Your hands are better than mine.
Good morning. My name is Ariel Franks, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Ryan Clements. Evan Fryman. Chase Paroli. Owen Quinn. Desiree Rodriguez. Sarah Roebuck. Lainey Rumor. Graham Saunders. Lola Saunders. Ashley Scholes. Isha Shah. Jess Shapley. Hayden Smith. Ella Walsh. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Megan Saracino.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Saracino, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Eunice Lee. Rachel Lee. Ben Luce. Ariana Malfera. Brody Malfera. Fiona Malfera. Hayden Mallory. John Matthews. Max May. Michaela McKeever. Nora Million. Ava Moran. Charlie Morris. Isabella Navo. Jack O'Connor. Colin Pennington. Joseph Randa. Natalie Rittler. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Sonia Andre Borges.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Andre Borges, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Grace Robinson. Samuel Roman. Chase Rubincam. Ella Seslow. Sarah Sharp. Asher Silberman. Paul Silvius. Shannon Silvius. Audrey Sonta. Maya Spillage. Luca Squitieri. Daniel Stark. James Stricker. Jake Sullivan. Max Sussman. Anderson Swanger. Olivia Tao. Last but not least, Elizabeth Vasquez. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mr. John Waters.
Good morning. My name is John Waters. It is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Alex Aaron. Felix Bocella. Max Crossan. Michaela Kelly. Kaz Kaguchi. Gavin Lake. Michael Lee. Tristan Livesey. Helen Lutz. Finn McCaslin. Ravi Padmanabhan. Ann Pham. Sophia Pataki. Nicole Shermer. Jemmy Searman. Luke Sharp. Rhett Trabowski. Luke Vandemula Brake. And Jacqueline Walters. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Miss Marnay Ream.
Hi, my name is Marnay Ream, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Ryan Baranaskas. Nate Brown. Avery Cleary. Anna Miriam Corrales. Maeve Kalina. Oh, I forgot one. Zoe Cohen. Sorry, Zoe. Ronan Kalina. Isaac Marquez. Elena Martinez. Kennedy McManus. Henry Root. Henry Smith. Aiden Talon. Viola Van Sant. Amari Williams. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mr. Pat Kelly.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Kelly, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Ursula Aaron. Dylan Bauman. Sean Bird. Olivia Brunozzi. Lily Carsey. Lily Craney. Isabella Dant. Maya Eisenhart. Charlie Farmer. Theo Ferragame. Katie Geyer. Joseph Hauser. Rebecca Jimenez Diaz. Mackay Patterson White. Elias Schechtman. And Bashir Tawfiq. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Lori Pinelli.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Pinelli, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Luke Edis. Danny Gendron. Johnny Gendron. Nigel Gialdo. Micaiah Green. Owen Hastings. Matthew Hall. Matthew Hay. Holland Haynes. Ethan Holmes. Benjamin Hubley. Vincent Kerper. Justin Kim. Susan Clausen. Samuel Ziegler. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Gwen Wayno.
Good morning. My name is Ms. Wayno, and it's my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Ryan Bell. Bella Bonacci. Kennedy Braddock. Zoe David. Caroline Delgado Gilchrist. Alana Dunbar. Ryan Farina. Liam Galpin. Kai Jones. Thomas Manchester. Julia Maxwell. Jack McGuckin. Julissa Mexcatitla Martinez. Ashton Odar. Munir Pigford. Thank you. Please be seated. Next up is Mr. Matt Barlow.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to present my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Nicholas Formoso, Nathan Gazera, John Junta, Sophia Hamilton, Robert Hartman, Luis Hearn, Jalen Henry, Aiden Hood, Olivia Igo, Gregory Emrity, Carlo Johnson, Nia Kennedy, Reagan McGuire, Gabriella Maletta, Kylan Road, Thank you. Please be seated. And now, Mr. Josh Hibbs.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Hibbs, and it's my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Cole Barber Johnston. Liam Baskin. Tamia Bravo Harris. Grace Cashman. Eloise De Palma. Isabel DeShields. Sydney Gatewood. Ronan Klein. Rayanne Landman. John Lynch. Peyton Marcino. Kayla Mateo. Bryce McManus. Juliet Popoca Cortez. Alondra Rivera Fonseca. Evan Silver. Herman Suchita Rivera. And Peter Thalner. Thank you. Please be seated. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Megan Clace.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Clace, and it is my pleasure to introduce my homeroom. Please hold your applause until the entire homeroom has been named. Gracie Buckles. Nick Ebner. Lainey Forrester. Jack McCafferty. Chase Morrison. Rayana Nickens. Eddie Rossler. Jack Sarsfield. Tim Sayer. Jake Shoup. Caden Sowell. Brandon Thompson. Ryan Vernick. Kayla V. Amelie Walsh. Ayana Wilkins. Amelia Wood. Henry Yaboa.
This is another motion. Yes, that's all I'm getting. I saw you made it.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Again, good morning. Students, at this time, please rise. Dr. Rittenhouse, Dr. Yannicone, dignitaries, families, friends, it's my pleasure to present to you for the very first time next year's freshman class, the Springfield Township High School class of 2025. Students, please be seated. I would now like to welcome Dr. Rittenhouse to the podium to accept his new freshman class. Dr. Rittenhouse.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning. My name is Chuck Rittenhouse, and I am the very proud principal of Springfield Township High School. Congratulations, students, on your achievement completing 8th grade and your program at the middle school. May we please have another round of applause for this outstanding class. Spartans at our high school, you can look forward to 4 outstanding years, taking exciting classes, singing or acting in the play, playing the trombone, dancing at the prom, or scoring a goal in field hockey. I would also like to congratulate and wish the best of luck to those students who will be attending other area high schools next year. On behalf of Springfield Township High School, I congratulate all of you. Mr. Fuller, it is my pleasure to officially accept and welcome all of the students to the high school. You are now officially the class of 2025. Congratulations and enjoy your special day. It is now my pleasure to turn the program over to your Super Spartan, AKA Superman, AKA Mr. Fuller.
Okay, so in just one moment, we will recess out of the stadium and to the field immediately adjacent to us right now. There you'll be able to meet your student, take photos, pick up a bottle of water, or a snack that's been generously provided by our secondary HSP and served by our parent volunteers in the 7th grade. We ask that audience members please remain seated throughout the recessional and exit through the 3 gates facing the high school building. Before that happens, I'd like to thank the following people and organizations who have made this ceremony possible. Thank you to our wonderful superintendent, Dr. Yannicone, our equally wonderful assistant superintendent, Dr. Johnston, my old boss and inspiration, Dr. Rittenhouse, our assistant principal, Mr. Payne, and our faculty presenters for their support and participation in today's ceremony. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you to the STSHSP 8th grade committee who has generously donated the honoraria for our student awards and provided bottled water and packaged snacks for the ceremony. Again, thank you to the 7th grade volunteers who will be distributing the water and the snacks. I'd also like to thank the high school team for the use of this awesome facility so that we could all be here together and in person on this really important day. Thank you to Mr. Rich Oliver, our technology director, and his talented staff up in the booth. They have spent hours preparing for this to make sure that we could be heard and that I could have my Superman music, so thank you to all of you up there. Thank you to Mr. Craig Thorne and his facilities staff for the countless hours they've spent preparing our grounds and Spartan Stadium to receive you and your students today. Thank you to our 8th grade team who you see lined up along the margins of the audience here today. Especially our 8th grade team leader, Ms. Sonia Andre Borges, for the work she's done in preparation, and let's give them a great big round of applause, please. Thank you to our awesome music department, Mrs. Benton and Mr. Barlow, who for the 8th year in a row have worked with you and your students to be honored as one of the best music departments for music education in the entire country by the National Association of Music Merchants. A big round of applause for our music department. Finally, and definitely most importantly, thank you to our front office staff, Amy Willerman and Suzanne Newbeck, who are the face of our building every day. Thank you especially to Amy, my administrative assistant, for the absolutely incredible amount of time, when we're talking about middle of the night time and effort that she has spent behind the scenes organizing this ceremony in this crazy year. A round of applause for our administrative assistants, please. Finally, thank all of you, and thank you, students. Congratulations on your promotion to high school. Teachers, staff members, family, and friends, be well. Have a wonderful summer. I'm going to turn the program over to Mr. Barlow, who's going to play us out. Dignitaries on the stage, follow me up. Okay, Mr. Barlow.